Hello everyone, if you are completely new to ArchiCAD 26 or other versions, this tutorial is tailored for you. In this tutorial, you will create your first floor plan and presentation in ArchiCAD without any special add-ons. This tutorial is also for those who are advanced but want to create stunning floor plan presentation for their projects quickly. You will create a visual appealing floor plan for your project from start to finish. You will create a good presentation with room coding and legend for referencing your rooms using the zone tool and interactive schedules in ArchiCAD. If this seems intimidating, don't worry, I promise you are covered. I will explain and demonstrate all the necessary steps required to efficiently produce great results. With that being said, let's jump straight into ArchiCAD 26. Okay, like any other project, we need to start running through the project settings. In this case, I'm going to start by defining or customizing the interface in order for me to be effective. The point of ArchiCAD is to do things once and then repeat it in future project. This will save money, time, and the resources that you are putting into your project delivery. In this case, let's come here under the project info. If you drag or put your cursor there, you'd see under this or on top of this line, you'd see this cursor changes to a move tool or whatever icon you see here. What I need to do is to drag this info box and dock it alongside the tool palettes like that, and then this will give us a big room for us to access all the parameters of each object or tool. In this case, if I had to activate wall tool, you'd see now the parameters are alongside the selected or the active tool at the moment, which is a great thing. And then you'd see all the parameters by just scrolling your mouse like this, and then you can have also your settings dialog here if you really want to see it in a bigger window, just like that. But pretty much everything is located into this info box. You can also come here and stretch to increase its width, but like so that you can see even you have this drag bar or scroll bar alongside that. So perfect. And then let's move on into another settings, which is going to be under options and preference or project preferences, and set up our working units. In this case, I'm using millimeters to carry out my project, and then I'm going to change the area to be a square meters, and then the volume is going to be measured in cubic meter. The angle unit is going to be in decimal degrees. This depends from country to country, your region standards. Make sure you key in your region standard. I'll hit OK to apply the changes, and then once I've applied the changes for the working units, let's go back again under options and project preference. This time around, we're going to set up our project north. Let's find our project north, and then by cursor, on the cursor by default you would see this north graphically. What you need to do is to click and then define the direction of your north like this. In this case, for this project, it's going to be looking downwards like that. And then once you've placed your north, you need to place the north symbol. Okay, so the north symbol, we're going to use an object to place it. Let's scroll down from the info box, also from the tool palette, and find object tool, and then I'll hit object settings to open that. Let's search for the north on the search bar, and then here's the symbol. If you're using ArchiCAD 26, you'd see north symbol 26. So depending on your version, it will write the name of the version for each and every object. So I'll select this and then come here under the symbol styles. Let's open that, and then I want us to key or check this box for follow project north, because we already defined the project north, so we don't want to use the project or the north symbol to again define that. It has to follow what we've set or the parameters of our project north. So in this case, I'll activate this box, and then I'll hit OK. But I can just set this to let's just leave the dimensions of the symbol itself. We'll see once we've placed it. Let's hit OK, and then I'll just place it here. You'd see it follows the project north. Even if you try to select it and then Control E in your keyboard to rotate, it won't rotate. So it will be remaining permanently to the project north. What you can just do is to move it around your project file like that. I see this is a great feature because you'd always have your project north set regardless of changing the north symbol. It won't be affected. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do, instead of just starting by creating a project or drawing or producing your layout, it's important to understand the objective of your project. Project goes at different terms of the stages, or it goes through different or various stages. In this case, what I want to achieve here is to create a floor plan. That floor plan that has a fully fledged with furniture and with a great representation style, and then I'll have a legend that will have a reference for the number in the rooms, as you can see on the screen. So what I need to do here is to start by creating that layout sheet first before I even think of starting a project. I'll come here under the project navigator. If you are new to ArchiCAD has this project navigator. This is where you define majority of your project views. So we have the project map, where the view structure of your project are being located. Views like stories, sections, elevations, and so forth. And then we have the view map. View map is where it's same to the project map, but the difference here, you can customize and create new views and define their parameters and settings with the so. And then we have the third part, which is the layout book. That's where we're gonna be focusing on currently at the moment. So I will say here I need to create we have two different things. Let me just collapse all this so that you can see this. We have two different things. We have layout sheets and then layouts masters. Masters is where we key in our title block and define the size of our sheets. In this case, I'm going to use an A1 sheet. So if I open this one that is currently here, it has a title block that is coming up from the ArchiCAD template. So I need to create my own sheet. I don't want to delete this. You can also customize this if you want, but in this case I'll create a new master. If you come here and then hit on new, and then we could call it let's just leave it the way it is. You can give it a name and then change the size to A1 and then hit create. Now I've created a master layout 5, which is the newly created master. So if I were to create a sheet, I would come here and create a new layout, and then I would use a master layout reference, which is the master layout 5 that we just created. There we go. It's blank. It doesn't have title block on it. It's just like that. But if you can also toggle between the existing masters that are there. So for example, I can assign a different master to this layout like that. So it would automatically change the size of the sheet depending on the size of your, according to the master size, just like that. So I would go back to the master layout 5. That's the one that I'm going to use. Okay, so in here I'm going to place a project note instead of having it here on the view ground view plane. I will just delete this one, and then let's go back to our layout, and I would hit object settings, and let's hit OK. I'm going to place the north here. It looks small. What I need to do is to change the settings and increase its size. Let's say the text should be maybe 15, and then this I'll make it 30, something like this. Okay, perfect. And then I'm gonna have a layout here, my plane here, and then the legend below. Okay, so let's get started with the layout. So I'll come here under the view layout, and I have a sketch in my mind that I want us to replicate. So what I need to do, let's collapse these tools to open the documents tools. You can also increase the size of your window for the layout by just dragging this edge just like that. And it will give you the names of your tools like that. So if you want to have it this way. Okay, so let's say I want us to start with the polyline. In every project you would want to have a sketch first. Any project or a great project start with a sketch. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I would use a polyline tool to create the sketch first, and then I'll come and reproduce the walls or the layout based on this sketch. So I would use a polyline to sketch. In this case, I'm going to use a different geometry, which is rectangle geometry, and then I'll zoom in here. Let's draw a box of 3.5 wide by, let's say, I'm gonna make this okay, I'll use the downward arrow to access the parameter of the height of this box. I would have 5 meters plus 900 is 5.9 plus 1.5 is going to be 7.5. Let's just say 7.5. It's subject to change. It's just a sketch, and it will take its shape as we move on. And then I will have another, okay, here this side will be, let's say 3.5, and then I'll have a 900 here. Okay, and then I'll change the geometry method to a single or a polyline kind of. Let's just draw a 5 meter line, which is going to be our, this is going to be our, what you call, our garage space. Okay, we're gonna have a garage space, and then here we're going to have a cabinet or cabinets for the garage, or shelving for the garage. So I'm gonna Control Shift D to move this as a copy, and then I'll move it at 600. That will create the shelving for this garage. And then we'll have a little bit kind of a store here. I want this to be around let's make this to be 1.5. okay, I'll hit right click and then hit OK to complete the drawing of this line. And then I'll select this edge of the line, and then let's use offset the edge. I'll bring it to the 1.5 line. I can get rid of this line by just selecting and hit delete. Okay, so I have this kind of a patio to the garage, and then I have the garage here, and I have 600 shelving, and then at the back side is the store. Okay, the store is going to have a sliding doors here. All right, and then I'm going to draw another polyline, which is going to be in a rectangle, and this is going to be 3.5 by 7.1. okay, instead of being 7.1, I would select this edge and then make sure I align it with this line. All right, okay, and then again I have another polyline. To repeat the previous operation, you can just hit W to repeat the last command. So I'm going to draw another polyline, which is on a rectangular mode. This is going to be 3.750 by 7 meters. I would just say 7 meters, but I know for a fact that I have to align it with this line. I'll just do that way, and then I would have another box of 4 meters wide. So I would select this, and then I would pick one of the points and then use the drag. I would drag it, but instead of dragging the original, I would hit Control to add a copy. Hit Control on your keyboard to add a copy. You see this plus, it indicates now you're carrying a copy. I'll place it here. Instead, this one it's 3.5 or 3.7. I want to make this 4.5, so I can just draw a line. Let's pick a line tool and then draw a line of 5.5. 4.5, then click or activate this rectangle, then select the edge to offset this edge to the 4.5 length. Let's get rid of this line just like that. Okay, so we now have pretty much our spaces in place. So we have a kitchen here with the dining sorry about that, kitchen here with the dining, and then we have the bedroom side, and then it's toilet or ensuite. Here is the lounge for this layout. It's just pretty much a simple structure, and then we're gonna have the staircase around here. Okay, so let's finish off our sketch by including other spaces like bathrooms and stores underneath here. So I'll pick again the polyline tool, and then this time around I'm going to draw it from here. I'm going to draw a rectangle of 2.5 by hit the downwards arrow in your keyboard to access this dimension of the vertical, and then it's going to be 3 meters. Okay, then I'll have another one of 1.3 by also 3 meters. This will be a toilet. Is it 3 meters? Yeah. Okay, then we'd have another for the main entrance, or for the back end. This would be what, the main entrance of the building, or the back side, or the back door. So I would have this around 3 meters by 3 meters. Let's have another one here, which is basically is going to be a storeroom. I'll say 1.3 by 3 meters. Okay, but all these, they are sitting around. Let's just draw a line of, you can use lines or guidelines. So I would like to expose you to a lot of things. You can use a line instead of, or a guideline instead of a line, to draw your margins or to place just your guidelines. So you can hit Alt L to draw a guideline. For example, I want to draw a guideline of 1.3. Okay, this is, I'll just go back and then select all these spaces to this line. No, not this one, this one. Okay, all right, we have something like this. So I can trim off these lines that are extending to each other by hold Control in your keyboard to activate the scissor tool like that, and then you can just click on the lines that you want to trim off. All right, so yeah, I think everything is super. Just a sketch. It's just a sketch. Once we've placed other components like walls, doors, or all the openings, it will start to shape up. So let's start that. I'll come here under design tool palettes. Let's activate the wall tool. In this wall tool, let's access its parameters here. What I need to do is scroll down, and then under structure, let's change the structure to be just a basic structure, and then change the material to just a brick structural. Okay, and what we need to do is to set the wall thickness, which is 300. Is fine. Yeah, that's pretty much everything that we need to do for our wall. So I'll start drawing the geometry method, which is determines the placement of an element in ArchiCAD. This is it will have this geometry method for all the tools. So if we select all the tools, it will have this geometry method that determines the placement of your item. So let's go back to our wall, and then I'll draw a line here. Instead of, I'm going to use the geometry method of just a line that is defined by 2 points. You can use a polyline kind of method, or a rectangle, or a rotated rectangle. Okay, so in this case I'm going to use this one here, or let's just go for the polyline one, and then I'm going to use the reference line to be on the center of my wall, and then I can just quickly draw like that. When it gets here, it goes this direction by, I think, by 1.7. Then we go this direction, we go move down, we come here right to the end there. I can arrow click and hit OK to complete placing this wall. Right, we have another wall here, but for this kind of walls I'll just use a point-to-point method, which is from this point to that point, and then I'll select this one. I wanted to select this wall separately, so it, automatically there will be a group as a default, because we've used a placement method of polyline. So ArchiCAD automatically will group all the walls. So I'll activate the suspend group, and then so that I can select this wall separately, I can click on this point of the wall and then use a stretch the wall to this point or this line. Okay, like I said, here we have an open kitchen to the dining, and then we have a lounge. Here is going to be a bedroom. We have a garage, a carport here with the shelving. So let's define the remaining spaces with the wall. So in this case, I'm going to use an internal wall. It's going to be half the thickness of this one, which is going to be 150, and it's going to be on the same material and same structure. So I'll just draw like that, place this one there, place that one towards the end, and then have these vertical ones here. Okay, all right, there we go. We have I think this space looks too big, I don't know why. Let's just measure this distance. It's 3 meters. Is it supposed to be 3 meters? Oh yeah, no, it's fine, because we're gonna have shelf in both sides, and then we have a door here. This is supposed to be 1.5. Okay, I think let's select these two and then move them back here to align it with this line. Okay, and then we can trim off this by hold control in the keyboard to trim that. So that means this sketch, we're gonna remove these lines. Yeah, something like this. Something like this is okay. Here we're gonna have a staircase. There it's shelving. Right. Let's see. I'll measure this distance. It's supposed to be 1.2. It looks tight. Let's make it 1.2. I'm gonna move this. Oh, just Alt L to create a guideline, and then let's draw a guideline of 1.2 here. We're gonna move this, Control D to move this to there. Yeah, perfect. Okay, and I can select these two walls, come here to intersect them like that. This one would control hold to trim it off. Perfect. I think it looks great already. What we need to do is to start placing some openings, but before we place openings, I want us to define the look of, because I have an objective of having an ideal presentation for this. So I'm gonna change my walls to be solid black. All the walls should be solid black, but there are different ways of creating that. It will depend on the stage of a project. Like I said, you can use graphic override to achieve that. You can use fields to do that. You can use building materials to do that. In this case, I'm going to use building materials. Let's go to options menu, and then under elements attributes, let's find building materials. But if you want to, let's close this so I can show you. If you want to have this material selected automatically on your building materials, you have to select the element first from your project. Let's say go back again to options, element attributes. Let's bring materials. You see now the brick structure is highlighted because it's the material that is a makeup of this wall. So in this case, what we need to do is either we set a new material for our walls or we edit this one. To edit this one is just to change the cut fill. It's just to change the cut fill of this to 100% fill, which is 100% solid, or we create a new fill that will duplicate the existing one, the one that has been selected. Let's just call it brick structural solid, then hit OK. I'm going to come here, change this to be a foreground 100%, and then change the color to black. For now, let's just leave the surface as it is, and then hit OK. Once we come here, we can select all the walls. To select all the walls, let's activate the wall tool here and then hit Ctrl A in your keyboard to select all the walls. Let's come here now and assign a newly created brick structural solid wall. Perfect. So now we have a solid black our walls. So let's move ahead and place the openings. But before we place the openings, there's a little bit of a design here. I will select this wall, let's stretch it to that corner, and then we would have a wall here. Make sure you activate the wall or pick parameters of this wall, and then draw a wall that is going to be around 1.1, something like that. Okay, that is going to be a shelving here as well. So we can now start I think also this line for the patio, it can go all the way to this edge like that. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so let's create or do our openings. I'll start with doors for now. Let's go here under the design tool palette and activate the door tool, open its settings. Let's find door 26 under the hinged doors. We're going to start with this door and then move on to the door for the internal spaces. So I'll come here under those settings. What I need to do is to set up the floor plan section parameters. Let's come here or click on this arrow to access the floor plan and section parameters. What I need to do here is to uncheck the fill. I don't want to use the fill, and then the 2D detail level is going to be up to 1:50, and the show reveal on symbol is going to be always. Let's set the frame and contour pen to this. We can just leave. Let's just hit leave on again and hit OK to apply the changes. We start with this one. It has to go here and open from the outside, and then we have another door here. Let's have another door here that will open to the side. Another one will be on this corner, opening to the outside like that. Yes, and then we have another one here. But for this one, let's go back to the move arrow to cancel our operation. We're going to have a guideline. Let's Alt L to draw a guideline from this wall that is going to be creation of a closet. And then I'm going to extend this wall to the edge of this guideline. Okay, and then let's pick parameters by Alt and hold in your keyboard, then click on this wall, and let's draw another internal wall here. I'm going to pick parameters of this door by Alt. Let's pick parameters of this door by Alt hold and click on this door, and then place a door here. Okay, so we have a complete now openings for our access for our spaces, except these ones, because these ones are going to be on a sliding door. So let's open settings and bring in something different, which is sliding doors. scroll down here. What I want is this. Oh, let's go for a pocket door. And then we do the same. We click on this arrow to define the floor plan and section parameters. We don't want to use a fill. I'm going to uncheck that. And then 2D detail level, let's set it to 1:50. And then hit OK. We have a sliding door here that will opens from this side. Another one is here. Then we have this one there. So let's see how to see this. Let me select all the sliding door by hold shift and then click on each and every one of it. And I think the access is fine. It's 900. I mean the width is 900. Okay, well, that's perfect. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, we have sliding doors here as well from the entry. So what I need to do is activate the door tool again by hit W in your keyboard and then open in settings. Still under the sliding door folder. I think I need something with the transom, or let's just go with this one, and then I'm going to use the two leaves. Okay, let's click on this arrow to access the floor plan and section parameters. Switch off your fields, make the 2D detail levels to 1:50, and then make the reveal always showing on the symbol. Then hit OK. We have a sliding door that will open from the outside. Okay, let me select it from here. That will open from the outside like that. And then this should be around 3 meters. Let's make it let's make it 3 meters like that. Okay, and then what I would do, let's move it, Control D to move it to this corner, and then Control D again to drag it to move it away from this wall by 600, because we're gonna create a cabinet here. Okay, I'm gonna create a cabinet here that will go all the way to this door. Right, we have another door, sliding door that will be coming from this area. So I'll select this and Control Shift D to carry a copy to this wall, and then let's move it back by 600 because we also have a kitchen cabinetry there. So we now have something like this. We have a kitchen cabinet on this side, a dining here, then a lounge here. This will be the bedroom. And then this will be the store that will have a sliding door as well here. But instead of have a sliding door flashing with this wall, what I need to do is to break this wall into two, and then move the remaining piece down, just to create a depth or a reveal from this. What I need to do is select a split tool here at the top, and then select the wall to split. I'll split it from here. So this is the wall that we want to move down by maybe 500. Okay, and then let's make it to stretch all the way to here, and then we select these two to fillet them or intersect them. I think also this has to stretch all the way to the edge of this wall. All right, so with that being said, now we need to place that wall here, that door. So I'll pick parameters of this door and place it to this door or to this wall to create a little bit of a storeroom for our carport or garage. The internal dimension of our carport has to be 2.5. Let's confirm that. So if we select hit M key in your keyboard, you can introduce measure. Currently it's on 3.2, which is fine. It's more than 2.5. all right, It looks great. I can now get rid of my sketch, but before I get rid of my sketch, let's place the slab for this project. I'm gonna come here and activate the slab tool, just like we did for the wall tool. Instead of just having a structure composite, let's just use a basic structure, which is concrete. And then I'm going to use a geometry method of a rectangle to place the slab from this corner and draw a rectangle to the other corner like that. We have another rectangle here of a slab to the edge, something like that. Okay, so I'll click on the arrow to cancel the operation, and then select this slab and click on this edge to add a point. I'll add a point to this area, then select this edge and offset all the way to there. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to cover. And then before we delete our sketch, we need to place the furniture layout, because here the position of the cabinet for the cabinets of the garage needs to or dependent on the sketch. So let's activate our object tool, because that's what we're gonna use, and then open its settings. What we need is to go here under the folder view of our library, the default library of ArchiCAD. Sorry about that. And then let's move up and find furnishes or cabinets and shelves. So what I want is I think this kind of shelf is perfect for the garage. Okay, I can use also this one as locus, but let's go for this open shelf kind of. I'll hit OK and then place it here. Go back to the arrow tool to cancel the operation so that I can edit this. Let me just stretch it all the way to here. What I need to do is to divide this into 2. 3.2 divided by 2 is how much? I think it's 1.1. So I will have this around 1.1. So I'm gonna come here under the project info. Let's find the size of this, the size dimension, which is for the dimension one is going to be 1.1. No, I think it's 2.1. Sorry, is it 2.1? Okay, let's measure this distance. Is 3.2. So it was 1.7. So if we divide this into 2, it's going to be 1.7. So that means one cabinet is going to be 1.7, because we're gonna put 2 here. Oh, sorry, 1.7. And then I can Control Shift D to carry a copy from this point and then place it from here. Wow, it didn't. What happened? Measure this to this 3.2. 3.2 divided by 2. 1.6 instead of 7. What am I doing? It looks like I'm not great in mathematics. I'll select this and then move it back to the place like that. Okay, so now because I have positioned my cabinet, I can get rid of the lines. So to do so, I'm gonna activate the polyline and then hit Control A to select all of these guys and then delete them. All right, we still have the guidelines active here. We don't want also to see the guidelines. To get rid of the guidelines, we come here under guidelines and then erase guidelines, or instead of erasing them, let's hit escape and then let's say remove all guidelines, to remove all the guidelines from the project. All right, so we need to do the cabinetry for our kitchen and then place the kitchen or the dining objects and the lounge furniture. Let's activate the object tool again, open its settings, and then from the settings, what you need to do is to find cabinets. Oh no, instead of cabinets, I would find there's a library called furniture layouts, which is this one. So if I scroll down here, there is a kitchen layout. This will save your time depending on the project stage. Like I said, because this would give me an opportunity just to place one object that would define my kitchen cabinet. So if I select this, you see here under layout we have different types of layouts that we can create. In this case, I'm having a straight layout for my cabinetry here. So I would choose a straight layout, and then I'll move to the next page where I can choose what kind of equipments that I want to be or to have in this kitchen. In this case, I'm going to get rid of the washers, both dishwashers and that, and then I can come here and choose the type of cooktop you want or the burner you want, and then the size of the fridge as well. I would go for this one with the bottom freezer, and then the sink as well. You can choose the type of a sink you would want. Okay, and then you can hit OK. That's basically the fundamental settings that you need to do before you place it, and then I'll click here to place that. So by default it will come here. This is the main cabinet, and then these are all the components. So you need to place these components or position them on top of the cabinet. So what I'll do, firstly, I would Control E to rotate this. I think that way. Let's rotate to this direction, and then Control D to move this corner to the corner exactly like that. And then I can start now positioning my equipments on top of the cabinet. So I would start with the sink. The sink would be positioned underneath this cabinet, and then we have the burner. The burner also is going to be somewhere here. The burner and the oven are going to be on the same position, and then this will be the fridge that is going to be somewhere here. Okay, right, that's basically that. I wanted to have a little bit of a space for the staircase here, but by the look of things I think I'm not winning. I can get rid of this tall cabinet. Let's open the settings, and we have refrigerator, wall cabinet, sinks, blah blah blah. Yes, okay, I think we would have oven. No, there's nothing I can reduce here. Let's just leave it the way it is for the staircase for now, because we're just doing a single story. Let's just leave it the way it is. So, and let's say we want our drainage for this. So I'm gonna have a duct by this corner. So to have a duct, let's say I'm going to, let me just sketch it first. Let's use a polyline to sketch that. I'll draw a box here of a box of 600 by, let's say, 200. Okay, or I could just drag this copy or pick parameters of this wall, and then just draw another wall that will end somewhere here. Let's select that wall, Control D to move it right on the edge of this wall. Okay, and then I can select this kitchen cabinet, drag it to here, something like that, and then get rid of this line. So what I need to do is to create a duct here. I can just represent it with a circle, with a circle tool, and find this. It will just have a pipe that will run here, pipe of around 110, something like this. Okay, but it has to be filled with white so that it can represent a hole. So I'll pick a fill tool and then hold spacebar in your keyboard, and then place this fill on top of the line or circle line. So now I can hover or tap to select the circle fill and change the color to white. Doesn't change. Maybe right click and then bring it to front. Yes, something like that. Okay, that will represent the duct of this kitchen cabinet. All right, it looks great. Okay, sorry about that. I got distracted by a phone call. So let's carry on. And yeah, that's basically what I wanted to achieve in terms of the duct. So let's move on to other objects. So I'll go back to the object tool and then open its settings. Let's place for the, I just want a kitchen. Let's move on to the kitchen cabinets, and then we'll just use this base cabinet block. For this one, what we need to do is we're gonna have an island kind of setup. So I'll click on this arrow to open other pages. I want a page for, yeah, this page. Let's activate the sink element or equipment. Let's click here on this sink settings, and then we can choose a different sink. If I have an oval, okay, we can change to oval here. Let's find this one. All right, so we can move on to activate the tap and change also or choose the type of the tap we want to use. There are also different types here. We have single and two-handle mixers and traditional basin mixers. We have a sensor kind of faucet as well. I'll go with this one. Now for the kitchen, come on guys, we cannot use that one. I think the first one, which is the single lever, would work. Single lever would work. Let's go with this one. Okay, and then this is going to be, let's just hit OK first and then place it. That's basically what we have. We need to adjust its measurements. I'll select it, and then here under the info box, let's set the width. No, I think, yeah, the width to be 2.5. Yes, 2.5, and then let's set the rotation angle to 90, something like this. We can make also this to be 600 or maybe 1 meter. Yeah, something like that. Let's drag it here, move it somewhere here. Okay, I thought I would use a meter. I think let's switch. Let's just stick to 600. Yeah, I think you can move it somewhere there. Let's Control D to drag it right here to the edge of the cabinets, and then move it back to create a sizable circulation space around. I think 1.5 will be fine. No, 1.2. Let's move it back by 300. All right, it looks great. It looks great for now. And what we need to do is to place the other cabinet here for the kitchen. I mean for the dining. Okay, I can still use the same equipment or the same object. Let's just select it and then Control Shift D to make a copy, and then let's set the angle to be 0, and the width of this is going to be maybe 1.2, and then let's Control D to move it right by the edge or the center of this, like that. Okay, I think we can increase this a little bit, 1.5. Move it back here, and then we can change the width to be a meter, something like this. Let's use these midpoints to align it. Let's open its settings because we want to get rid of the sink. For this one, we don't want to see the sink. Let's uncheck this box, something like that. Now we can move on and place some seating arrangement for this dining. Control Shift D, make a copy of this and open its settings. Let's find chairs folder, or we can search. Yeah, I think let's go for this two. I'll go for the square ones and then hit OK. In any object, the back side of the object is being indicated or represented by this dot. If you see this hot spot, a black hot spot, that means it's the back side of the chair. So what I need to do is to control M so that I can mirror it horizontally like that, or you can just use a mirror like that. Now I know the position of this is on a perfect place, so I can control Shift M to use the midpoint of this to mirror to the other side. I think let's just move it somewhere here. Let's have just a proper arrangement. I select both of them, control Shift M, and let's use the midpoint of this to mirror to the other side like that. Okay, we have our dining arrangement, kitchen arrangement object. So lastly is to place, no, it's not last, we still have other spaces to fill in with objects or furniture. Okay, for this one, let's also take this and move a copy to the lounge, open its settings. What you need to do here is to find or go back to the furniture layout folder. In this case, I'm going to find a sofa. Within this sofa, I'm going to get rid of the sitting on the left side and then sitting on the bottom side. Hit OK. Let's control E to rotate this vertically like that. Drag this to the position to have something like this. Okay, perfect. And then by the look of things, we should have a beam that will run across here. Let's just indicate that. I would use just a polyline or a line tool and set the line type to be some or a dashed line. This has to go all the way to here. So that means the beam cannot run on top of the doors. So what I need to do is to move this door right on the edge of this wall, because that's where the beam line is going to be located like that. Does it make sense? I think it makes sense to everyone. Or I increase the size of this space by moving this wall to somewhere here by this distance. Select this tool and fillet. Okay, we still have some interesting stuff to create. Just hang on guys a bit, because I know this process of just placing object into your project, it's not as exciting as it may exciting as should be. So let's just cut this to there. Okay, perfect. What I want is to still maintain the 600 for this window, for this door. We're still struggling to get 600. I think we can change the width of the doors to be 2.5. Great. Now it looks great. I think it's great like this. So what we need to do here is move on with other furniture. So for example, I would take the copy of this, Control Shift D, place it on the bedroom, open its settings, and what we need to do is still under the furniture layout folder. Let's find a bed, then a bed layout. Let's hit OK, and I'll mirror it vertical. Let's mirror it vertical like, oh sorry, okay, but we can still fix this by the angle parameter, make it 90, move it to this door. Okay, I'll pick the object for shelving, Control Shift D and put it here. Let's open its settings. What we need to do is to change it to the wardrobe. We have wardrobe here. I think let's go with this one. Hit OK. Control D, pick it from this corner to that corner, and then I can stretch it to this corner like that. All right, let's move on to the bathroom. We have a bathtub here and a vanity counter there. So I'm gonna just do the same. Let's copy this and place it there, open its settings. In this case, I'm going to say, let's just search for basin. Oh, sorry about that. Search for basin, and I'll use this basin with cabinet, and then hit OK. what we need to do is Control D and place it by this corner, pick this point and stretch it all the way to the corner like that. And our door should start right on the edge of the counter like that. Okay, something like this. Or we can reduce the size of, we have it 650, let's make it 600. Make it 600 so that we can have enough room for this. Yes, we have enough room. Or we can also reduce the size of our door. Normally toilet doors are not supposed to be as wide as they can be at 800. All right, something like that. Okay, great stuff. Now we can take a copy of this, move it, Control Shift D, move it to the side, open its settings. Let's search for the WC, for the bath. Let's type bath, select one of the baths here, hit OK to apply the changes. You can stretch all the way your bath to this side, but I don't think that would be ideal. So I'll hit undo and then I'll use just a line, a normal line tool to just close off this like that. Let's make sure it's on solid instead of dotted like that. Okay, and then now here we have a water closet, so I'll just Control Shift D to copy that and open the settings. Let's search for WC. I'll pick this one, hit OK. No need for me to change the styles. I can pick it from this, select one of the points, let's mirror it horizontal like that, pick from this point and use drag to this edge of the wall. Okay, in every MAP equipment you'd have this the sewage or plumbing system connection to this equipment, so you would have this. Make sure this is piercing through or it gets right into the wall. Same applies to the other components. You see we have inlet on the other side. That means the position of this bathroom is, the orientation of it is incorrect. So what you need to do is to mirror it. Let's mirror it horizontal like that, so that we have this connection points of the plumbing system right on the door, on the wall. Okay, let's fix this as well to align it. Right. Okay, here we have, I forgot, we have a door. Let's just pick parameters of this door and then place a door like that. Within this door I'll use just the rectangle to indicate some shelving here or some cabinet, or I can just pick this one from the storage. Let's Control Shift D, place it here, set the angle to be 90, bring it there, stretch the width of it or the length of it like that, and then I'll say Control Shift D and move it back here as well. I think I need to reduce the size of it. Instead of having 595, let's make it 400. Perfect. Then I'll move it this to there. Okay, we can position our door right on the middle of, on the center of these two. Okay, great stuff. And then we can have also this on the other space. Let's make sure it doesn't clash with the door opening. Okay, perfect. We have pretty much everything in place. What we need to do is to finish off our project. We're supposed to have a car symbol here, and then we also have shelving. I'll pick this, add a copy, a shelving of, Let me just stretch it towards. This should be, the width should be 600. No, it's supposed to go all the way to here. And then this door is supposed to start on the edge like that. Okay, that's basically what we have in terms of this. Let's take this and drag a copy here on the center so that we can modify this to be a car symbol. So we can search for 2D vehicle. We can say 2D cars. We'll get this object, and then I have a style that I like to use. Let's find, I think it's style 4 if I'm not mistaken. Let's preview it from here. Perfect, that's the style that I'm looking for. I'll hit OK, and then let's set the angle to be 90. Control D and drag it to the space like that. We haven't placed the garage door, so I'll pick the parameters of this to activate the door tool and open its settings. What I need to do here, let's find the garage door folder and find something that we can use for our garage. I think this will be fine for now. I'm not pretty concerned with the style of the, I'm pretty focused on the floor plan and section parameters. I don't want to use this fill, and I'll make sure the 2 detail level is 1:50, and the reveal is supposed to be showing always on the plane. So I'll place this here like that, and then let's make it on the center a bit like that, or let's have it all the way to the edge, something like that. Okay, practically this has to be on top of your door. So let's select this. You cannot access the display order parameters of all the openings. If you right click here, you don't have display order here. What you need to do is to select the wall itself, because it's housing the parameters also for the door, and then right click and then display order. If you say bring into front, now we have our door in front of or on top of our object. Okay, so now we have pretty much everything in terms of our plane. We have everything, it's fully fleshed, but now what is left is the representation. We want a style. I have an ideal style that I want to do. So what I'll do, I'll start with the openings. Let's select the doors first and activate the door tool and hit Control A and come here under floor plan and section. Let's override the pens for all the objects under this tool, which is doors. Then I'll make this to be 0.15, everything in terms of the doors like that. I'm gonna do the same to the objects. Let's pick parameters of the objects and then hit Control A, come here under plane and section. Let's override the pens. I would want to use 0.15 again. You could see now my drawing started to look pretty readable. It doesn't have too many colors or too many pens to interpret. Now it's just a basic drawing that looks very interesting to read. Okay, so we need to take this information a little bit step further and key in the numbering, or I want to give all the spaces, all the rooms an ID, and then create a schedule, which is a legend that will reference all these spaces. Okay, but to do that, let's fix this issue first. We have, I don't know what's the doors, why they are showing this line, the orange line. If you come here, I think, let's say, and then change also this one. If it doesn't change, it means now we need to go straight onto the object settings, and then under floor plan section, pocket counter pen. Yes, that's what we want. If we hit OK, it should change. Yes, changed. Perfect. Now let's place or give all the spaces an ID. Alright, to do that, we're going to use a tool called zone to place that. So let's come here and open or activate the zone tool. Like the other tools, we would have this construction method of placing a zone. In this case, we have different situations here to place it on. We have this polyline kind of where we choose point by point or corners by corners, and then we have the rectangle, we have the inner edge and the reference line. The inner edge would work in a situation whereby the space is enclosed like a bedroom. For example, if I had to click and place on this one, it would be easier for me. But before we do that, make sure the annotation is active to place a label. Okay, so let's click just on the center of the space. You see now it will select the edges of this space, and then you can place a label like that. All right, same space like this ones, you can achieve that like this ones. We have another one there, and yeah, that's all. These ones, because they are open, you would have to use a different methodology. The reference line and the inner edge works more or less the same. For the rectangular ones, I'll draw a rectangle here to place the label, draw a rectangle here to place a label there. Because this one is being divided by just a cabinet, it's not a wall, so zone tool won't pick such objects. It strictly picks walls as the definition of the space. Okay, so do the same to the kitchen. I'll pick this corner, draw it all the way to there, and then place. Okay, we need to separate the kitchen and the dining so that each hand can have its own cook. Sorry, I had a cough. Sorry about that. So like I was saying, we need to separate the kitchen and the dining. Each has to have a different or unique code. So what I would do, I'll select the zone for the kitchen. You see, now we're gonna have a challenge to select elements because we have now too many elements on top of each other. So to approach this problem, you have to use the tab tool or the tab key in your keyboard. If you place your cursor on top of the item that you want to select, and then hit tab like that, it will select all the elements that are on the same position. In this case, we want zone. We'll select the zone, and then I'll pick this edge. Let's stretch the edge to somewhere here, right? And then we place another label or another symbol or zone for the dining, something like that. We have also the lounge here. Okay, so we have all the spaces numbered. Okay, we have another one, which is this. All right, we have all the spaces now placed zones. What you need to do is to set up the coding and the label. The label looks horrible at the moment. With this recent version, ArchiCAD have separated the label from the zone. In previous versions, this was built in the zone tool itself. Now I can select the zone separately. Like for example, if I come here under documents and then activate the label tool and then hit Ctrl A, I can select all the labels separately so that I can come here under its settings and change, customize the settings according to what I need. I'll come here under symbol label. I don't want to see the zone name, I don't want to see zone number, measured area, and ceiling height. These are the parameters that you can, or information that you can display on your label. So I just want to show the ID. Okay, then hit OK. Oh, we still have a frame around our our zone, our label, we don't want to see that. I'll open the settings and then go here under text style, and let's remove the frame. Okay, we still have a horrible coding for our spaces. We just need a basic numbering instead of having too many letters or too many characters within our coding system. So to solve this problem, let's hit escape and then go back to the zone, because we need to define this within the zones, not the label. This code is being derived from the label, from the zone, not the label. So we need to select all the zones, activate the zone tool and hit Control A, and then open its settings. Under its settings, okay, no, let's get rid of the settings. We need to go to documents, and then under listing and extras, let's open element ID manager, because we want to manage the IDs for our zones. So let's go here under ID format, and we have already a setup here. We have different, how many characters, how many fields, 1 2 3 4 fields, and then we have just one field active, the other ones are not used. And we have different types of usage of these fields. We can have a text, we can have a counter, or we can make it not used. In this case, we're going to use just to counter, to count the number of rooms. So we're going to set it to start from 0 1. Then we're going to make it have 2 characters to accommodate maybe numbers that starts from 10 going upwards. So if you hit on change ID, you'd see now starting to count from 0 1 up to 10, and then all these elements are unique. That means 1 each. Then hit OK. It will update the label to that. Okay, let's go back to the label, activate the label tool and hit Control A. What I want is to change the color to color red. So, okay, I think if it doesn't change from here, the pen's attributes are being overrode. So let's open its settings and then come here under symbol custom settings. If we move on to the next page, yeah, the page for, let's just click here, the page for display or override text style, you see now it's been override. If you uncheck this text style, is fine, you see it will change to that. I can now start to bold it if I want to have something like that. Okay, so I don't want to see the background for the what you call, for the zones, the background field. So I'll go back to the zone and activate Control A to select all of them. If you open in settings under floor plan and section, under floor plan section, so you see there's these 2 for the outline and for the fill. Let's select for the fill and then make sure the fill is an airspace, and then come here under the cover fill background and change it to be a transparent material. If you hit OK, you'd see now a clean background of our zones. We still have these funny lines because we just want a black and white kind of presentation for our slab. Let's pick parameter of the slab to activate the slab tool and then hit Control A. Let's come here under floor plan section, make sure it's I think I would go with 0.15 for both uncut and hidden lines. All right, we have now our drawing complete. We need to create a legend that will reference this, but that will be in a different view, which is the layout. So let's move on to the layout book, and then we created a layout, remember, when we started this project. So we need to now bring in our plane here. Let's go back to the project map. Let's drag and place our plane here. What I need to do is to select it and then scroll down here under the info box, and then I would remove the title. Okay, so I don't know the scale, what the scale is this. Let's make it 1:50, 1:50, something like that. I think it looks small as well. We can make it 1:20, or let's customize it to be 1:30. Oh, 1:0. Oh, it didn't. No, it's supposed to be 1:30, not 1:30. Something like this. I can Control D and move this to the top there so that I can have enough room for my legend, for the legend here. Okay, so to do that, to create a legend, we're going to go back to the project map and scroll down here under schedules. If we click on this and expand, we have different sections of our schedules. We have schedules under elements, schedules under components, and then schedules under finishes, right? But it doesn't matter. I can just right click on the schedule and then open the scheme settings or create a new schedule, and we're gonna create a new schedule. Let's come down here and then say new schedule. This will be the RM, which is the ID for this. The name will be just legend. I'll just say legend and hit OK. The element that we're going to schedule is going to be the zone, so we need to choose that here. And then if we come down here into our fields of our legend, we need to have, let's add an ID. I'll search here, search for element ID, add, and then let's add another field for zone. I think it should be under zone, which is going to be the ID. No, the zone name. Let's find the zone name. If we hit OK, so we have our now legend added to the elements list. If you open it, you would find this horrible looking schedule. So what you need to do is I would edit this field to make it just an ID. Here is going to be the name or room or whatever it may be. Okay, so the legend is going to be bold, right? And then I don't want to see the lines for the borders or the cell border, so I'll get rid of that. Same applies to the border for the title. Okay, so I think the ID, I would make it align to the left. Same applies to this one. Let's align it to the left. Okay, I could decide to not include the title of the columns. Let's get rid of this, and then we have something like we can reduce even the cell height just to be there. Right, I think it's best this way. And then the legend, I would align it as well to the left like that, something like this. Okay, so another important thing, you see all our spaces are called zone. This is an interactive schedule, remember, and I can define the spaces or the names of these zones here. All right, so for example, if we select one of these and then go here under selection and floor plane, we would see this is a bedroom. If we come back and then we're going to say the 01 is going to be our, I'll make sure it's on caps lock, it's going to be our bedroom. Sorry, and then I'm not sure about 02. So if you go back to the floor plan, you'll see, if you select sorry about that, if you select this zone, you'd see now the name is bedroom. Okay, so that's basically what you can do. So in this case, I'm going to just do it here. This is going to be a store, and then this is going to be garage. Oh, sorry, this is bathroom. Okay, let me say bathroom. This is toilet. lounge, dining, kitchen, and we have finally a store. I would say utility for now. Oh, sorry about that. What happened? UT. Okay, so if I go back to my legend, all this information will be keyed in here. Okay, we have one space that is left, which is, I'll select it and then go back, select it on floor plan like that, which is this space. Or this space supposed to be a, I'd say a patio. Okay, so we have pretty much all the spaces here been labeled. Right, so if we go back to our layout, which is here, we can drag and place our legend here. So what I need to do is to select it, and then under the info box I'm going to scroll down to find the title type and get rid of the title, because we have a legend title there. Okay, sorry about that. I'm in construction site, so I'm recording this video from there, so there will be this background noise that is coming from the machineries. I'm sorry about that. So I'll click on this point to increase the size of this, something like this, and then place it here. To get rid of this line, you have to click on one of the points and then offset all the edges like that. Okay, so that's basically how you can, if you want to differentiate the colors, for example, you want the numbering of your schedule to be on red and then this on black. Unfortunately, you cannot do it on the schedule itself, because you don't have a separate parameters for changing the color for your columns. So it will change everything, for example. All right, let's go back. Oh, sorry about that. Let's go back and make it black. Okay, so to achieve this, what you can do is to create a copy. To create a copy of the schedule. So if you come here under scheme settings, and then let's say new, and then make sure you duplicate that. This will be just the code. I'll say this will be just the code, and then hit OK. Okay, let me just wait for this to pass and then I'll continue. Okay, once we've duplicated this, because we want this just for ID, so I'll get rid of this zone name just to remain with the ID. So if you hit OK, you'd find this. So I can now change this to a different color, which is red, and then get rid of this. Get rid of this. So if you go back, okay, instead of going back, we need also to do it to do the same to just, okay, for example, let's go to the layout, and we need to select also this. Let's right click on it and then say open source view, and then open the scheme settings of this. Let's get rid of the zone ID or the ID. Let's remove, so to remain only with this. It makes sense. And then that means I can get rid of the legend and go back to the scheme settings. I want to open the code. For the code, I'll hit OK. For the code, I'll have this here, the legend on the code, right? So that when I come here under the layout, I can now bring in the code separately like that, and then to merge the settings for this. Okay, let's just offset this edge like I said before to get rid of the outline, and then I can pick parameters of this and then Control Alt again to apply parameters to this one to have the same settings. Now I can align this, so I'm gonna use this corner to align with this there. All right, so I said I didn't want to see the legend on this naming, so I'll open its source view and then I'll get rid of this. All right, so if you go back, you would have your, let's offset the edge like so, and you can now make them, let's move this close a bit to back. I can get rid of this material and to have something like that. My north point will be something here. Okay, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys if you made it to the end, to this far for this demonstration. I hope you liked it. If you like it, make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed already for this channel, and share this video to someone who believe would benefit from this kind of information. And make sure if you like, if you didn't get much of it, you can dislike as well, so that to give us a feedback in order to improve in the next videos. So make sure to check all the resources that we've used for this demonstration, the project files. Check the link on the description to join our Patreon membership to receive this type of information or this type of content in daily basis through your emails. Okay, and also be sure to check our Beam store to check all the resources that you can optimize and improve your workflow in order for you to be efficient in your project delivery. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.